quarterback center, right? You've done it now. I've got a lot more reps. Does today do anything to change your timeline or just carry this over into August?
I think what you saw in the game was similar to what you've seen in practice. Some good things, some things that you'd like to see a little bit better, but he's growing. I think that the picture sometimes was clean, other times not as clean. I think when Marvin only played a couple drives there, and he was out, certainly not having back to Julian and those guys. But as you saw, there was some sparks. I thought the throw to Carnell was an excellent one, but other stuff that he wants to look to improve on. So we'll get on the film and figure out what that was. Some of it's hard out there because there's so much going on. It's going fast because you're calling it back and forth. So overall, 15 practices, and there was improvement there.
We're going to go with Stephen Means, Cleveland.com to the left, and then come back over to Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Right, kind of on both sides. When you're missing your top 4 wide receivers, your running backs, you're not really participating that much in the spring. Whether it's the defense, the way they perform today, or without the spring, or with Kyle and Devin, how you're evaluating them, how do you measure, kind of make that into how you're evaluating both sides of the ball? You don't necessarily have full strengths.
Yeah, you try to look at it through the whole 15 practices of what you see. If you start to see the secondary get their hands on some balls, and all of a sudden it doesn't happen for a few days, it's probably not real. We've seen that for almost 15 practices, what you saw today. So that was really good. I think the challenge will be increased in the preseason when, like you said, we're at full strength there. But you can just see the discernment. Everything's faster. They're moving faster. They're seeing it. And I think being year 2 in the system, adding Davis in there, you're starting to see the secondary move faster, make more plays, be more decisive.
Over here, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette, and over to the left then, it'll go to Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Can you just walk us through the play calling dynamic, how that involves Brian with that today, how involved were you? And where do you sit with that heading out of the spring and the summer?
Today we didn't really do much signaling. We just kind of huddled, and I kind of really called in, and it was back and forth on the headset. So there's been some growth there as well through 15 practices. We've had different times where we were able to get into some movement situations where both sides were able to call it off the call sheet, not just scripted. So that was great, and that's what happened today as well. So we'll look at it, evaluate it, keep working at it, and see how it goes in the fall, long way to the fall. But it's healthy for everybody to go through this. It's everybody on the offensive side of the ball as well. Coming up with a game plan, coming up with plays, and then installing them and putting them on the field. It's more than just play calling. And I think that's where as you continue to grow and guys are in new positions, you learn. And there's only one way to do it. That's to actually get out there and physically go through it.
Over to the left, Steve Helway, 24/7 Sports.
Coach, Chip Triano looks, that big run he had, looks like he's back to playing running back again, maybe as he was in his previous stop. Just, is he a guy that can maybe pick some things up in that group, or what do you think of him?
Yeah, we've talked to him about what we see his role being, and it's at running back this year. You saw him put on some weight and be able to carry it. You can see he's got some high-end speed, some top-end speed. He comes out the back end, and he had that long run. But I still think he was the second leading ball carrier of the day. I think the first one was Archie Griffin, and that was fun watching him there. I think next year is the 50th anniversary of his first Heisman, so we wanted to make sure he came back for that one. And so the offense needed a little help at that point too, around the 30-yard line. So we felt like called it the bullpen and pulled in 45, so that was good. But no, Chip has done a nice job. He's changed his body a little bit, got stronger. He's a load in there. You can see him hit it. So he has big playability. There were things that he did in the games that he played in last year that we liked, and so we're going to keep going on that.
Over to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Right, the offensive line has been a big issue. Spring, what did you see today, offensive overall?
Inconsistent. I thought that there was some good things, but we need more consistency there. The good news is on defense, we're getting in the backfield and creating confusion and chaos. So it's one of those things where
it is now closed for the day. And we thank all of you who participated in the raffle.
I got it, Jerry. You can't escape the
See you, Austin. What was the question? Yeah. So, good to get to see the defense make some plays, and that was good, but we need more consistency there. Yeah.
Over to the left, Cam Teague Robinson, the Athletic.
Ryan, kind of off the offensive line question. You just mix and match the line all spring just to figure out what works, what doesn't. When you talk about consistency, how do you evaluate consistency when you guys might have a different tackle guard combination at different times?
Yeah, I don't know if that matters as much. I know what you're saying. I think that's more during the season when you start to get the calls and things like that. We were very good in a lot of defense today. We didn't blitz one time, so there really isn't a lot of communication. This is one-on-one, me against you technique. That's what really the spring is, we think, and then we start getting the schematics more. We did it a little bit at the end of spring, but more in the preseason. So this is about being able to consistently do it. When you flash, when we say, he flashed, what does that mean? That means he's done it once or twice. You've seen him do it. It's like coming home with an A in algebra. And you expect to come home with an A in algebra all the time. You can't come home with a C in the second marking quarter or marking period. So that's what we're looking for. And that's what separates good from great players, is being able to do it all the time. So we need to see more of that.
We're going to go over here to the right, Tim May with on 3, and at the same time, I'm going to bring Denzel Burke and Cody Simon and set them up in the back for anyone that wants to talk to them there. Go ahead, Tim, and then we'll go back over to the left, Rob Aller.
Ryan, leaving the field after that game against Georgia, I don't know, disappointing the defense, I guess is the best way of putting it, right? You leave here today with like renewed optimism, and how would you explain?
But I think when you leave the spring, you get a feel for where things are. And when you start this spring, it's hard.
You hear, me say or us say that, we'll get through the spring, we'll have a better feeling. So coming out of the spring, I think the first thing was the back end explosives. You saw today we didn't really give a lot of explosives, maybe just a couple down in the second half. And that's important for us. We expect to score a lot of points on offense, and if we can avoid explosive plays, then that's a recipe for winning, which that was the idea in 2019, and we continue to do that. So as we come out of the spring, we'll evaluate and go through each position, but there's reason for optimism.
When you evaluate Cal today, you keep in mind that, boy, there was very little time sometimes to get things done. I mean, how do you balance all of that?
Oh yeah, you take all those things into consideration. Yeah, for sure. It was. I know Devin was excited about playing this game, so not being able to was disappointing for him. But I thought, Tristan and Kyle both, were out there competing. It wasn't always a clean pocket, wasn't always a clean look on the back end. But I did like the throw we had for the touchdown. Those were, being able to make those throws you make down the field. When you have an opportunity to make those downfield throws, that's been the difference for us. That when you're explosive, we're at our best football. So that was a step in the right direction. What's that?
Will y'all help them fall?
A little bit here and there, yeah, but not as much as that.
Over to the left, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, Ryan, the team is unique. The team has some identity. Last year, leadership was a big part. Is it too early to say what the identity of this team is? Maybe not on the field, but behind the scenes.
No, it's something that we wanted to forge early in the off season. It's about competing. We talked a lot and hard about how there's difference between hard work and competing. Everybody's working hard. Without it, you don't have a chance. But competing means winning or losing. And so we had a lot of winning and losing. I think you guys are coming to practices. You heard that all the time. We're losing, compete. We have another message that we want to get in the summer. We'll get into that down the road. But it's been about competing. When you go against your clone, when you go against your equal, counts and weighted, what are you going to win? What's your edge? And so that's been a huge message for us, and the focus and emphasis.
So is the leadership, I know you developed it last year with some stuff you did. Is it carried over, or do you have to kind of start from scratch on it?
Well, we did the same thing we did the year before. So we went through the leadership, voted on the leadership committee, drafted squads, and I thought it was excellent. We're going to do that again. So we start again right after the spring. We'll draft or we'll pick some new leaders. Because some guys that you think are leaders in February, maybe do a great job, or some emerge, and so that changes. And then we'll go through and have another draft, go through the summer workouts with Nick, and then we'll have a really good idea of who the captains will be in August. So this is our second year doing the leadership committee and having these squads, and I think it's really built strong leadership in the team. And I feel good about where our leadership is at.
Got two more questions for Coach over here, Nathan Barrett, Cleveland.com.
Two of my commonalities we talk about Devin in the same asking. A couple times today he
to be refined, or are you happy with where that's standing?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle and Devin both have strong arms. They can make that field throw. Playing against dropping, playing against zone coverage like that, like you're gonna drop pretty hard. There's not able to drop back pass, once you get the drop back pass, you see what's going to drop in the zone, so you have to really negotiate the zones. I thought when we did call it for play actions, the RPO at the end there, guys are not in the line of scrimmage and creating with that one pass conflict. It opened up some windows, but I think Kyle can do all of those. We've seen him do that, where he can make all those throws. He can handle play action, he can handle RPO, he can handle drop back pass. He can make the field throws. So he definitely has the skill set.
Over to the left, Stephen Kirschbach, Lantern.
Coach, on Wednesday you mentioned that the defensive line was an area that you were a little bit concerned about. How do you think they look today, and what do you think they still need to improve?
I don't know if I'm concerned about the D-line. I think one thing that we need to make sure we're doing is building depth. I feel like we have the right people in place in terms of starters, first group or so. Now those guys have to play great. That's important. As you take the next step in your progression, it's one thing to be a starter, it's another thing to be a difference maker. I think we have quite a few guys that can be difference makers. I think you're referring to the depth. We like to play a lot of depth there. It's a long season, so that's an area that we got to continue to see improvement. But guys like Kenyatta Jackson stepped up, and we need more and more of those guys to do that.
And final question for Coach over here to the right, Tony Erdman, Buckeye Huddle.
Right, CJ Hicks today, is that flashing or is that consistency? Just what have you seen from him today, this spring? If that's who he is, how do you find time for him this season?
I'm going to put a new category in there. He flashed more. So, we're still looking for that consistency. But you're starting to see it more and more. He's making plays, he's showing up, and I think Jim and James will do a great job.
Is there, is he a gainer for the officer at this point, or is he just?
I know what you're saying. I don't know really as much as we practice if being a gamer really exists. Certainly, some guys can handle playing games better than others. But if you don't practice well, it's hard to play well. And what we saw in practice is what we saw in the game today.
Coach, thank you very much. Thanks, guys.